Good morning. Before I get started, I want to say I hope everyone's doing all right out there. This lesson is from my Trig-Precalc class. This is section 7.3, lesson 3. I'm just going to do an example problem, and you guys have 3 problems on your homework assignment. I think we have 3 more lessons to go, including today. So let's finish strong, do everything we need to do, and graduate and move on to the next part of our lives. So let's finish here strong. So again, the last assignment was decomposing fractions. This assignment again is decomposing fractions. And so I'm just going to work a problem out, explain the thought process as we go through it, and hopefully again this is good enough to help you guys do the problem. Want to make sure I don't step on my Thursday, who's laying right there. She's asleep with me again on the floor. Hi, Thursday. Alright, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. So remember, the first thing we want to do is we want to factor the denominator. And we're going to factor the denominator using FAN/FAB/AC. I can't factor out a number, but I can factor out a variable because everybody has an X. Alright. I can factor this by using an A times C method. And this is actually the difference of squares. So remember, conjugates are the factors for difference of squares. So the denominator itself actually factors to x, x minus 2, and x plus 2. Alright, so now I've factored the denominator, and I can now, let me make sure the light's good. Okay, so I can now set up my fractions with my unknowns in the numerator and my factors in the denominator. So I'm going to have the following fractions. There's usually right in the way here, but that's okay. I have A over my first factor, which is x, plus B over my second factor, which is x minus 2. And I have C over my last factor, which is x plus 2. Okay. And again, in doing these problems, what we're going to do is we're going to create a numerator in this version that's going to have to be equal to that numerator. And from that, we set up our system of equations, and we can then find the value of A, B, and C. Alright, so again, I want to be able to add these fractions together because I have to put it into this form. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply denominators by everyone. So the first fraction is missing these 2 denominators. And so I can just, kind of cheat and know that these 2 factors together are actually this. So I'm going to multiply A by x squared minus 4. So A times x squared is going to give me ax squared. And then A times negative 4 is going to give me negative 4a. So this one was kind of easy to do because I had the factor. Now B needs to be multiplied by this factor and by this factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these together really quick so you can see what I'm going to multiply it by. I'm not putting it over itself. I'm doing a little bit of a shortcut because this board will fill up, be quite messy. But I'm going to multiply B by these guys, and these guys multiplied together would be x squared plus 2x. So I'll multiply B by x squared plus 2x, and I get now bx squared plus 2bx. And for my last fraction, it's missing these 2 factors. So I'm going to multiply it by x times x minus 2, so that becomes x squared minus 2x. And let's see here. So I get cx squared minus 2cx. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms, and I remember this little trick to help me with that. right? The two lines are for the squares, the single line are for the linear, and the no lines are for the numbers without any x's. So I have an ax squared plus a bx squared plus a cx squared. Now, let me just kind of show you how I'm going to write this. Since they all have an x squared, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the x squared, and I'm going to be left with now a plus b plus c. Okay, with my x squared out here. And then I have 2bx minus 2cx. And just like I did over here, I'm going to take out what these guys both have in common. And they both have in common an x. I can take out the 2, but let's just take out the x. That might make a little bit of an issue down the road. So now I have 2b minus 2c. And they're still multiplied by x. And my last is minus 4a. And remember, we've actually created this denominator, right? But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the numerator. So I know that my value a plus b plus c is tied into my x squared, and that's equal to my 6. Let's see how much room I got here. Okay, it's going to get a little tight off to the side, but let's try our best. So I know that a plus b plus c is equal to 6, right? Because these guys are connected to the x squared as well as that 6. I'm really trying hard not to step on my dog. All right, so now let's look at this one. Who's attached to the x? I have 2b minus 2c. That's attached to my x. And so is negative 2. So my second equation that I'm going to get is 2b minus 2c. And that's equal to negative 2. And my last equation is minus 4a is equal to minus 4. So now I have 3 equations, 3 unknowns, and now we can get into what we've been doing, and you guys can see that on the screen very good. I can find my value of a very quickly, right? So if I divide both sides by negative 4, I can very quickly figure out that a is equal to 1. So I got that guy. I'll write that over here. A equals 1. Oh, that was terribly written, but it's okay. Alright, so now I know that a is equal to 1. So I'm going to replace that with 1. So 1 plus b plus c equals 6, which means b plus c is going to equal 5. Right, if I subtract the 1 to both sides. And now I have 2b minus 2c equals negative 2. 2b minus 2c equals negative 2. I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 2 because I want to cancel out that b, and I'll write it underneath it. So negative 2b minus 2c minus 10. And we'll do what Gauss taught us to do, that we could do as a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, I don't know. Cancel that out. We're left with negative 4c equals negative 12, which means that c is going to be equal to 3. Right? A equals 1, c equals 3. It's really hard to work over this big dog. C equals 3. Now I know that c is equal to 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. I need 2 more to get to 6, so that means b is 2. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all of this work here real quick and show you my final answer. So A is 1. I get 1 over x plus B is 2. 2 over x minus 2. And C is 3. And that was over x plus 2. Alright. That's all we're doing. I gave you 3 of these problems to do. That's it. We've got a couple more problems to go. Let's make sure we do the best that we can. Finish strong. I got an email today for a sure senior fail. If I told you guys that you have to do all the assignments and you haven't done them yet, I'm putting your name on that list. But that doesn't mean that you fail my class. It's just I have to do this as a technicality. Do all the work. That means I go back and tell them to take your name off this list and you pass. Again, we want to do the best that we can. We want to pass this class. And that's basically it. We got 1 more week to go. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Let's say hi to Big Old Thursday before we sign off. Hey, big dog.